So welcome back to Favorite Friday. For the first case for this week, we are going to Scotland. I have not went over to Scotland before. I have obviously been in the UK with like London. That's like in the country of England, not Scotland. This case is kind of crazy considering how long our victim was gone before they were even like found out to be, you know. And I don't know if it's because it happened over in Scotland, and that's because that's the reason why it's not as well known. Because I can guarantee you, had that happen over here, I feel like it definitely would be more talked about. And as far as I know, I've only seen like maybe 2 or 3 other people talk about this case on YouTube. So of course, this is another one of those cases that didn't get a lot of coverage, at least over here in the United States. So I'm going to bring it over to the United States the best that I can. So with that being said, please share the video to let people know of Margaret's story. And with that being said, I'm going to quit my rambling and let's get started. So we don't have a date of birth on Margaret, but Margaret was born sometime in 1980. And January 1993, so she's like 12 when this happens, her parents split and she goes to live with her father. Her father would unfortunately get diagnosed with terminal cancer. He had apparently since gotten remarried. So his wife at the time, but all the other sources are calling her the ex-wife. Apparently she would take her to basically a social care office because Margaret was said to have some developmental issues. And then of course, unfortunately 5 days after that visit, her father did unfortunately die. And her mother apparently wanted nothing to do with her. And Margaret of course is still a minor, so somebody has to take care of her. But she would wind up going to go stay at her mom's house, and she did enroll in James Work College. That's the name of the college. So then apparently he had Margaret's father had the cancer for like a pretty long time. And so he kind of was making final arrangements because he knew like his daughter needed somebody to go stay with. Because again, she's still a child. And not just legally because that's his daughter and she has behavioral issues and other stuff going on with her. So I need somebody that's going to take good care of her. Because they just said that he genuinely loved her and wanted to make sure that she had a good life after he had passed, as a good father does. So then, after he dies, he has it set up to where she's supposed to go stay with some friends of his, apparently by the name of Eddie Kearney, and his girlfriend or wife, sources are differing here, basically his partner, Avril. So on November 26, 1997, Margaret is now 17 years old, and apparently Margaret's mother apparently had a feeling that Margaret wanted to come home. However, she would claim that she was attacked by Eddie. And then, of course, the police get involved and they go over to check on Margaret. And apparently, at this point, it said that Margaret wanted to stay with Eddie and Avril. Even though, if we look back later, it said, I believe that was highly against her will. And so apparently, torture Margaret, they would, duct tape her hands above her head. They would constantly leave her locked in her room. And, of course, the neighborhood kids would want to come around and play. Now, Margaret apparently is an adult when this happens, but she has the mind of a child. Hence, that's why Eddie and Avril are taking care of her. And plus, also, you get a little check from the government for every month that you're doing this. So I'm pretty sure they only saw Margaret as a check every month. So then, for whatever reason, she would just be punished daily, whether it be for their own amusement or just little shit that Margaret had done that she more than likely probably didn't deserve to be getting beat for. And then they basically wound up cutting her hair, really short. Sorry. She also wasn't allowed to eat, and the last confirmed sighting of her was December 17th, 1990. So then in January 5th, 2000, so we in a whole new decade now, whole new millennium, Avril's mom asked Avril, hey, what happened to Margaret? And then Avril was like, oh, well, she left with a traveler. And so in 2008, apparently there was a firefighter that was driving by the house that Eddie and Avril was keeping Margaret in and shit, and he would smell like burning flesh, but he never reported it. And the reason why he obviously knows what burning flesh smells like is because obviously when you're a firefighter, there are going to be fires where people don't survive, and the fire does get to their bodies. Hence, and apparently it's a smell that you never get over. It's once you've smelled it, you find out it's burning flesh, you it. Not that it never goes away, but it's a smell that you can't confuse with anything else. It's a very distinct smell. And then in a weird twist, between February and April 2016, Avril was over here posting on her Facebook about missing people in America and Scotland. So then on October 28th, 2016, Margaret is finally declared missing after 17 years of her not even being confirmed to be seen. And apparently this is because her disability allowance that she was getting every month, because like I said, Margaret was mentally disabled, hence why they were taking care of her. They were going under a new independent company, and this independent company needed to see you in person, and Margaret never showed up, so the police were called, hence the missing person report, and that's where everything fell down. So had it not been for that, they probably would have been able to keep getting these disability checks in Margaret's name, pretending she was alive, when it's highly believed that she's been dead this whole time, had it not been for the change. So then they asked friends of Margaret's, like, what do you think happened to Margaret? They were like, oh, well, she's grown, she's an adult, so we thought she just went off and just started a whole new life. Like, she was just tired of life in Scotland, probably just went somewhere else, as people do, because, you know, when you're an adult, you can do that. And then Eddie claims that, oh, well, because apparently the police had shown up at their house, and so Eddie claimed, oh, well, Margaret actually ran away when y'all showed up. Like, y'all scared her, and she done dipped. However, apparently there were police at the front and back, so there's no way this could have happened, apparently. And then he was like, oh, well, she ran away to be a gang. Okay, sources are saying gang leader and drug leader. And so police would find letters that had been from Margaret that were sent to, like, Eddie and Avril. However, like I said, Margaret has mental difficulties. And I'm not calling her dumb, but there were very difficult words that Margaret more than likely wouldn't get correct, and those words were spelled correctly. So that was a dead giveaway. And then apparently the letter came from London, and the couple just so happened to be in London, which is where the letter came from, so obviously it's not looking good for them. So then 300 bone fragments are found in the garden of this house. However, 298 of them are too small to determine where they came from. So whether it's an animal, whether it's human, whether that was Margaret, it's too small, we don't know. And so apparently on October 25th, 2017, Avril and Eddie were planning, I guess, like, on escaping, because they found, like, a bank account where there's, like, 3,500 Irish notes. So apparently that was the currency they planned on using, was Irish notes. And then there was a key to a safety deposit box with 27,000 pounds. Because, like I said, this is the United Kingdom, they're using pounds over there. Okay? However, the next day, luckily, they were arrested. They are charged with murder, assault, and then the house where everything happened at, it was demolished, because I guess it was like a dark stain on the town's history. And then in October 2018, the trial was abandoned. And then on April 25th, 2019, they were both sentenced. They go back to the trial, so I guess the trial was, like, suspended, and then they are convicted on June 14th. And then they're both sentenced to life in prison without parole for, like, without the possibility of parole for 14 years. And so they were also made to pay back some of the money that they were getting from Margaret's disability checks, which equals about it was believed they got like 180,000 from these disability, like 180,000 pounds, which is about $230,000 $230,000 in the U.S., right? Just for a conversion rate, because most of y'all here are from the U.S. And so Eddie has to pay back $3,000, while Avril has to pay back $24,000. So I guess they were able to prove that Avril was using it a lot more than Eddie was. But either way, yeah, they both would have to pay it back. And then Eddie was actually said to have died on October 15th, 2013 at 83 years old, 82 or 83, in jail. So Eddie's dead. We still have Avril. Hopefully Avril doesn't get out anytime soon. So yeah, that's really all I have for the case of Margaret Fleming. Like I said, I don't know if it's like an international case, because it seems like the cases that I do overseas, there's not as much information as there is over in the U.S. And like I said, nobody really has covered the case of Margaret Fleming. So I just thought I should cover it, and hopefully it gets like some just... Obviously, they're both obviously are in jail. Margaret's remains have never been found, for anybody that's wondering. So she's technically not confirmed to be dead, but it's highly believed that she is deceased. So yeah, definitely know your thoughts down below. If you knew Margaret personally, definitely know. If you happen to know Eddie or Avril, definitely let me know. And so with that being said, that's all I have for this case for Friday. I'm here for you guys 3 times every Friday. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.